andaban sevgi daha kamera sevgi lawyer judge vigate bureaucrat vigate architect come out stand up and let the world know that would do more to end prejudice overnight than anybody could ever imagine. Only that way we would start to achieve our rights.
These were the last recorded words of Harvey Milk before he was assassinated in office. You may recognize him as the first gay man elected in California, and today, May 22nd, is Harvey Milk Day. His story naturally appeals to queer audiences because Milk was a gay activist and the queer community supported his political ambitions. But his story also appeals to a broader, mainstream audience because Harvey Milk symbolizes democracy. He was democratically elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and ultimately, he was assassinated while in office by a political opponent. This unfolded in the 70s. It was a decade of mobilization for LGBTQ+ rights. On the flip side, many anti-LGBTQ+ initiatives were also proposed at the political level. For example, Milk opposed Proposition 6, which sought to ban gays and lesbians from working in California's public schools. This might surprise you, but the coalition against Proposition 6 was bipartisan. President Carter and prominent GOP leaders like Governor Ronald Reagan and Gerald Ford opposed it. How times have changed. We simply can't look at Harvey Milk's story through the lens of today's hyper-partisan politics, but his legacy of hope remains alive many years after his assassination. I was a teen when I first heard of Harvey Milk, and it's all thanks to the 2008 biographical movie titled Milk featuring Sean Penn. So in the first chapter of this video, we'll take a look at this movie because that's what we do on this channel. In the second chapter, we'll take a deeper look into Harvey Milk's tape recordings he left to his friends to be played only in the event of his death by assassination. And in the final chapter, we will discuss Milk's enduring legacy. Make sure to give this video a like, it really helps with the algorithm, thank you. The portrayal of real characters in fiction cannot 100% reflect who they really were, but Milk manages to capture Harvey Milk's rise to political prominence and the events leading to his death. The movie opens with archival footage of police brutality during the 1950s and the 1960s. This helps establish the social environment in which our characters evolve. Perhaps our characters experience police brutality a decade before the events of the movie. Perhaps their friends told them about police raids. In short, persecution of the queer community is within living memory for our characters. We then see archival footage of Dianne Feinstein, yes, that Dianne Feinstein, announcing to the press that Harvey Milk and Mayor George Moscone were assassinated. The movie then takes us back years to when Harvey Milk lived in New York City in the early 1970s. We see him meet Scott Smith in the Metro, Milk's young love interest. It's interesting to see their first encounter portrayed in the movie because it reminds us of how difficult it could be for gay individuals to actually meet anybody. It's all done in secrecy. And part of that secrecy convinces Harvey and Scott to move to San Francisco, where they believe their relationship will be more accepted. This is how the two land in the Castro, a predominantly gay working-class neighborhood in San Francisco, where they open a camera store. It isn't long before their store becomes the center for gay political activism. We also see Milk's early political instinct when he starts exchanging favors with local elected officials. For instance, when a local politician asks Milk to organize a beer boycott, he gladly obliges, thus turning from activism to political organizer. Throughout the movie, we see instances of casual violence in the streets with the police brutalizing the gay community. Milk attempts to capitalize on this anger to incite change, and he slowly starts campaigning to gain elected office. Milk's early political demands portrayed in the movie are still relevant today. For example, he says he wants people to stop being so concerned with the books they read. On my channel, I have a whole series about graphic novels, mostly LGBTQ+ books that are the subject of challenges and bans today. In the movie, we see that it takes a while and a few failures before Milk gets elected. During this trial and error period, he starts receiving death threats. He attempts to make deals with older and influential gay people who refuse to help his campaign, believing that no gay person could ever get elected. Milk also undergoes a total rebrand. No more ponytail and no more bathhouses for Scott, he says. In other words, he's playing according to the rules of the game. This reminds me of RuPaul saying, "Just wear a suit." All this may help Harvey get closer to political office, but the movie also shows how he paid a price for his ambitions. For one, his political aspirations start to weigh heavy on his partner and his relationship. On the other hand, Milk is slowly building a movement. His camera store is now a campaign headquarters and a community hub. One night, a young man named Cleve Jones, who I think looks like Lane V. Rogers, shows up at his store. Earlier in the movie, Milk tried to convince Jones to join his cause, but he was not interested. He was leaving for Spain anyway. But upon his return from Europe, he tells Milk how gay people were brutalized under Franco. He recounts horrific incidents of violence between police and drag queens. It's a sort of activist awakening for Jones. Despite all his efforts and growing community influence, Milk loses again. But this time, he doesn't lose by much. His campaign aide says that if they can convince hippies and more gay people to vote for him, next time around, he could become the first elected gay man. Milk receives a phone call at his HQ. On the other end of the line is a young man in Minnesota who tells him he wants to end it with his life. It's slowly becoming evident that Milk's public profile is growing, and he's becoming a beacon of hope for the community across the US. The man says his parents are going to take him to a hospital to fix him. Milk tells him he's not sick. He advises him to get on a bus to the next biggest city. But then the camera pans out and we understand that the young man cannot leave as he wishes. A riot starts in the streets following the repeal of Florida's gay rights ordinance. The police, who recognize Harvey, tell him, quote, "If you can control them, we will." The weight on Harvey's shoulders is heavier than ever. Harvey gives an impromptu speech. They march in the streets chanting "Gay rights now" as police look on the sideline. Harvey seizes the opportunity to mobilize the crowd to vote. He's talking of a national gay force to fight back against hateful politics. When I say that Milk is a movie about democracy, I mean this. Milk uses the community's anger and hope for change to actually make a difference. The movie shows him campaigning again, and this time people listen and are enthusiastic. He says that San Francisco can give hope to the rest of the country. The movie's events are intercut with a scene of Harvey Milk recording himself on a tape recorder. The movie uses this device to put into perspective what's happening on screen. The real Harvey Milk recorded 3 tapes that he distributed to close confidants. His friends were instructed only to play these tapes in the event of his assassination. We will listen to the content of the real tapes in the next chapter. If you made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing. I cover many LGBTQ+ topics, mostly during Pride Month. You can watch last year's Pride playlist, which includes my video about the rise of anti-LGBTQ+ politics. And stay tuned for this year's Pride content, including my reviews of Love Simon, Call Me By Your Name, Pink Flamingos, and Fun Home. Also, my cousin and I are soft launching our queer-owned brand. Our products are ethically sourced and locally made. We are soft launching with our limited edition Pride Neon tote, so make sure to check it out. The real Harvey Milk was eventually elected to the Board of Supervisors in 1977, becoming the first gay man to hold public office in California. He did not hold that position for very long though, since his assassination occurred the following year. Milk left tape recordings to his friends to be played in the event of his death by assassination. 9 days after recording this tape, he was in fact assassinated. Let's listen to what Milk had to say.
This is Harvey Milk speaking from Arizona in the evening of Friday, November 18th. This is to be played only in the event of my death by assassination. Fully realize that a person who stands for what I stand for, an activist, gay activist, becomes the target or the potential target for somebody who is insecure, terrified, afraid, or very disturbed themselves. Knowing that I could be assassinated at any moment, at any time, I feel it's important that some people know my thoughts.
Harvey intended for this tape to be heard by the mayor.
The first and most obvious and most concern is that if I was to be shot, killed, the mayor and the power, George Moscone, of appointing my successor on the board of supervisors. So I would like to have him know what my thoughts are.
But Mayor Moscone was also assassinated on November 27.
I have never considered myself a candidate. I have always considered myself part of a movement, part of a carrying sea. I consider the movement the candidate. And I think that we can't time to explain everything I did. Almost everything was done in the eyes of the gay movement.
Milk then goes on to address the community and what he hopes the response would be if he were assassinated.
Obvious is what should happen if there is an assassination, and there is could have prevented some people from getting frustrated and mad, but I hope that they can anger, frustration, and madness instead of demonstrating or anything of that time. But I hope they take it to politics that I hope 5, 10, or 100,000 were crimes. I don't want to see every gay doctor come out of it, see every gay lawyer, every gay judge, every gay bureaucrat, every gay architect come out, stand up, and let the world know that would do more to end prejudice overnight than anybody could ever imagine. Only that way we start to achieve our rights.
And he concludes with a final message of hope that still resonates today.
I ask for a movement to continue, for a movement to grow, because last week I got that phone call from Altoona, Pennsylvania. In my election, gave somebody else, one more person, hope. And after all, that's what it's about. It's not about personal gain, or about ego, not about power. It's about giving those young people out there, now Altoona, Pennsylvania, hope. Gotta get involved.
Harvey Milk and Mayor Moscone were assassinated by Dan White, who was a former board supervisor. White was angry at the mayor for not reappointing him to the city board, and in the past when they were legislating together, Milk and White had vigorous arguments over key legislation. On November 28, 1978, White entered government offices with a gun and shot the mayor and Milk. It's Dianne Feinstein, who was the president of the Board of Supervisors at the time, who discovered Milk's body.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed. The suspect is Supervisor Dan White.
Milk was right in his tapes. The community both responded with riots and peaceful demonstrations. As for White, he received a 5-year prison sentence, and he took his life after he was released from prison. Harvey Milk's legacy of hope and bravery continues to be appreciated by the queer community, but also by many in the mainstream. For example, in 2009, President Obama posthumously awarded Milk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And if I release this video today, it's because May 22nd, Milk's birthday, was declared Harvey Milk Day in California. In 2019, Milk was inducted into the National LGBTQ Wall of Honor on the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. To me, Harvey Milk is a symbol of hope and democracy. Milk knew of the possible danger of seeking public office as a gay man in his time. Despite that, he believed that electoral politics is the most effective means of change. And he's right. If we want to change things, we must support people who take our rights seriously. But I'm curious to know what Harvey Milk means to you. Let me know in the comments below. Click the top link to watch my video on the rise of anti-LGBTQ+ politics and check the links below for more content. Thank you.